Hello students and welcome to the lecture. So students, as we know that we are covering the financial knowledge and the banking awareness part of it. Alright. And so far we had covered so many topics like the FMC, like the NHP and the rest of the others like the PFRDA and all. Alright. I hope that you have revising these sessions properly as we are going further. You are keeping the previous thing in your mind. Alright. So that you can diversify the burden which you may have in the end if you are not doing this thing which I am telling you right now. All right. So basically, financial knowledge is a series, banking awareness is a part, and in the previous lecture, what we have done, basically, we have done with the forward market commission, right? In the previous lecture we have done with this thing which is also known as the FMC, and its acts was, what was its act? Forward contracts Regulation Act 1952. All right. So that was a topic we had covered in the previous lecture. Right now, what we are going to start, basically, we are going to start with the SIDB. Okay. So we will have the overview. We will have the objectives. We will have the regulatory authority. We will have the functions and the initiatives. We will have the assistance and development. We will have the digital initiatives, and we will have the summary. All right. So let's begin our journey with all these topics. So let's start. So basically, first of all, the first thing which we need to keep in our mind is that the full form. Okay. So SIDB basically stands for. Okay. Now, why I am writing it again? If you could have it here also, because what I believe the golden words which I have told you also, practice makes a man perfect, writing makes a man exact. All right, so keep this thing in your mind. All right, so SIDB basically stands for the Small Industries Development Bank of India. Okay, so it is the full form of SIDB, Small Industry Development Bank of India. All right. Oh, sorry, it's industries, not industry, because it is not for a particular industry, but for the industries. So this is the definition, Small Industries Development Bank of India. All right. So let's have an overview of this. SIDB is among the significant financial institutions under the regulatory purview of the Reserve Bank of India, alongside the Exim Bank, which is stand for the Export and Import Bank, National Housing Bank (NHB), and the National Bank for Agriculture and the Rural Development (NABARD). All right. So now it's become very important for us that we should keep this thing in our mind, that SIDB is basically a regulatory authority, but comes under the preview of how many organizations? 4 organizations. As the first is the Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Second is the Export and the Import Bank, in short known as Exim, XNM. Okay. Thereafter, what we have the National Housing Bank. It stands for NHB. Okay. It stands for RBI. All right. Thereafter, what we have the National Agricultural, okay, sorry, National Bank for Agricultural Development. National Bank for Agricultural and the Rural Development. All right, in short, known as the NABARD. Got it? So basically, these are the four organizations: Reserve Bank of India, Export Import Bank, National Housing Bank, and National Bank for Agriculture and the Rural Development, which having their preview on the SIDB. All right. So let's begin further. All right. Second thing we have the establishment time. Okay. So SIDB was basically established in the year of 1990 on 2nd April. SIDB operates under the Ministry of Finance. This is another term, and its headquarters in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. So SIDB, basically, if we write down the tidbits, then SIDB stands for Small Industries Development Bank of India. All right. Second, if we talk about the establishment year, the establishment year is 2nd April 1990. Okay. Thereafter, if we talk about the parent ministry, the parent ministry is Ministry of Finance. Okay. Thereafter, if we talk about the headquarters, the headquarters are at Lucknow, which is the capital of Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So these are the tidbits, or you can say little bit short form of the SIDB important details. First, the full form. Second is the establishment year. Third, the parent ministry. And fourth, the headquarters. All right. Thereafter, if we move forward, then what we have, SIDB's subsidiaries include the entities like the, okay, first of all, let me refresh one thing in your mind about the parent company and about the subsidiary. All right. So suppose if we having the XYZ and the XYZ having the different entities, for example, A, B, and C. All right. A is in the field of soap. B is in the field of chocolates. Okay. And C is in the field of shoes. All right. So now you can see A having the entire different area, B having the entire different area, C having the entire different area, but they all are in common with the XYZ. It means that right now the XYZ is the parent company. Okay. And these all are the subsidiaries. Got it? Parent company is the company which having the subsidiaries in common, whereas subsidiaries are the companies which are under the control of someone else. All right. So basically, in this case, if we talk about the SIDB, then SIDB here is a parent organization. Okay. And the rest all are basically its subsidiaries. Okay. Like the first is Micro Units Supplement and Refinance Agency Limited, Mudra Bank. Now, one thing which is very important here is that you must learn the full form. All right. Maybe the question asks you, all right, Mudra Bank stands for which? All right. So here you have to write the answer that the Mudra stands for the Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency Limited. All right. Second subsidiary is India SME Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. Okay. This is another subsidiary. Thereafter, Acute Ratings and Research Limited and SIDBI Trustee Company Limited. All right. So basically, you can say it's having the four subsidiaries. The first is Micro Unit Development and Refinance Limited. Okay, which stands for the Mudra Refinance Agency. All right. Refinance Agency Limited. First. Second is we talk about the India SME Asset Reconstruction Company Limited. All right. Third is Acute Ratings and Research Limited. The fourth is SIDBI Trustee Company Limited. All right. So basically, these are the four subsidiaries of the SIDBI. First is the Micro Unit Development and Refinance Agency Limited. Second is India SME Assist Reconstruction Company Limited. Third is Acute Ratings and the Research Limited, and the fourth is SIDBI Trustee Company Limited. Okay, as I have written down here in front of you, you are also required to written down again and again in order to keep these things in your mind for a longer time. All right. Thereafter, what we have, SIDBI offers support to both aspiring and existing small-scale entrepreneurs through various initiatives aimed at helping them develop their businesses and enhance their entrepreneurial skills. Okay, so basically, in its name itself, it consists the small industries. It means that basically it is not talking about the large industries, but about the small industries. All right. Suppose large and small. Basically, you can say we have the classification of the industries. I will tell you in the further of this lecture. Till now, just remember, basically when we talk about the industries, we divide them into the investment and the revenue part. All right. So the small industries are those which having the small investment and do not having a huge revenue. While we talk about the large industries, basically we're talking about that industries which having the heavy investment and huge revenue. All right. So basically it's a small industries bank. Then it's obvious that it will consider on the low revenue part and small investments group. All right. So basically it offers support to both aspiring and the existing small scale entrepreneurs. It means that those who have already established their business and those who are preparing for it. Okay, through various initiatives which are designed to helping them develop their businesses and enhance their entrepreneurial skills. All right. Thereafter, it also extends loan to millions of underprivileged individuals with a particular focus on women through its microfinance operation. Microfinance means ground level operations or ground level finance, you can say. All right. Suppose if we talk about the banks, here I would like to take you back to the lecture so that you could understand the topic properly. Okay. If we talk about the bank, I had told you that no one is more greedy than the bank. All right. And suppose if there are two types of industries, large industries and the Small industry. Okay, so in such a scenario, just look at it. The bank will be more interested in the large industries. Why? Because the large industries having a huge capital requirements, so the bank could offer more investment or loan to them. All right. Secondly, they having a huge revenue, so that they could bear the higher interest rate. Higher interest rate, right? That's why the bank will have a more interest in the large industries in comparison with the small industries, which generally required a small investments because they could not bear the higher interest rate. Okay, so in such a scenario, to provide the equal opportunities for growth, basically SIDBI offers the loans and the investment to those underprivileged individuals. Okay, but the particular focus is on the women because we want women entrepreneurs as a part of women empowerment. All right, so keep this thing in your mind. All right, now here we have the objectives part. Got it? Why the SIDBI was established, what are its objectives, and how they fulfill it. So first thing, when we go with this thing, you can see it's a refinance support to the MSMEs. Okay, but here before go further, let me tell you what you mean by the MSME. All right, so basically, if you are following the current affairs and if you are following the economic part well aware, then you must have learned this term or must have heard this term MSME from someone. Okay, so basically, what do you mean by the MSME? It stands for the micro, small and medium enterprises. Okay, now here keep this thing in your mind that basically we are talking about the enterprises, we are not talking about the enterprise. All right, so you are well aware about the English grammar. I hope that if we put the S, then it's a plural form, not a singular form. Okay, it means that basically we are talking about the micro industries, the small industries and the medium industries, instead of talking about the one industry which could be all, because it is not possible. All right, so here you can say here are basically three divisions. The first stands for the micro, second stands for the small, and third stands for the medium. Okay, micro, small and the medium enterprises. All right, so these are the three type of enterprises which we call them as MSME. All right, so if these are three and we conclude that they are different from each other, then on what basis? Okay, so let's understand it. Basically, if we talk about the micro, thereafter if we talk about the small, thereafter if we talk about the medium. Okay, so first here we will have the investment. Okay, then we have the revenue. All right, let's first go by the investment part. Okay, so basically micro industries generally having the investment from rupees 25 lakhs to rupees 1 crores. Okay, it's a general investment of the micro enterprise, whereas when we talk about the small, then it is lie between rupees 1 crore to rupees 5 crores. All right, whereas when we talk about the medium enterprises, then it is from rupees 5 crores to 50 crores. All right, secondly, if we talk about the revenue parts, then it's revenue up to rupees 1 crore. Okay, small enterprise revenue is about rupees 5 crores to 20 crores. And when we talk about the medium enterprises, then basically about up to rupees 50 crores to 100 crores. Okay, so this is the revenue part. All right. However, when you do a Google search, you will see a different values on the different items, but this is the common range. Okay, so micro 25 lakhs to 1 crore, revenue up to 1 crore to 5 crores. Small investment is 1 crore to 5 crore, revenue up to rupees 5 crores to 20 crores. Whereas medium investment ranges from 5 crores to 50 crores and revenue is about 50 to 100 crores. All right. So on that basis, basically we divide them in a micro, small and the medium enterprises. In short, we call them MSME. All right. This involves offering financial assistance to bank and the financial institutions that have provided loans to MSME. What do you mean by this? Basically, we mean by the refinance. All right. The concept of refinance I have explained you in detail during the NHB part. Okay, here I will just try to remind you. Suppose this is the MSME. Okay, this is the bank or the financial institution. Okay, and thereafter this is the SIDB. Okay, so basically what happened? They will provide the loans to them and the SIDB will provide the loan to them. All right, because when they provide the loan to the MSME, it's basically create a vacuum between the capital requirement to the capital available. Okay, so to fill this vacuum, basically SIDB provides a loan to these banks and the financial institutions in order of refinancing, so that they could be confident enough to provide the loans or continue their lending of loans to the MSME. All right. So this is the concept of refinance. Already I have explained this concept in well details in the NHB part. You can go and watch it. Okay. By doing so, SIDB ensures that these institutions have a steady source of funds to continue lending to the MSMEs, promoting their growth and development. As I have told you, because during their lending, they create the vacuum between capital requirement to capital available. All right. And when they having this type of vacuum, so basically they do not find themselves confident enough to provide the loans to the MSMEs further. All right. So that to counter this type of vacuum, basically refinancing activities have been done by the SIDB. Thereafter, what we have the monetary and development assistance to the small scale entrepreneurs. Okay, monetary is basically providing the financial support. Development is basically providing by some consultancies. Okay, SIDB extends both monetary and development assistance to the small scale entrepreneurs so that they could be go further. Monetary assistance comes in the forms of loans, credits and the financial support to help these entrepreneurs start or expand their business. Like they provide the loan to them, they provide the credit to them. Credit means, suppose if some MSME wants 50 units of raw material right now. Suppose this is a month of January. All right, but the MSME do not have the particular amount till August. Okay, so in such a scenario, it's a 50 units. In such a scenario, the SIDB pay for these 50 units. Okay, and will ask the MSME to pay the amount back to the SIDB in August. All right. So please, SIDB, Okay, so please do not get confused yourself between the loans and the credit facilities. Loan is basically some amount which has been granted, was not granted, which has been lended to the MSME, and then the MSME is allowed to use that money wherever they want. All right, until unless the loan has been granted for some specific purpose. Whereas the credit facility is like giving the proper tenure or the time period for a definite period that the amount has been paid by the SIDBI to the supplier, and then the MSME is required to repay the amount to the SIDBI. Okay, so this is the credit supports, and they all are the part of the financial support. Okay, and these are basically given for the expiring. It means those who want to establish their industry, to start their business, or existing to expand their businesses. Developmental assistance include advisory services, okay, training programs, and the capacity building initiatives to enhance the skills and knowledge of the entrepreneurs, making them more successful in their ventures. Okay, it's basically a guiding program. Thereafter, what we have the concession on the small scale industries bills. Okay, SIDBI may offer concession and the discounts on various bills related to the small scale industries. All right, what do you mean by the concession? Suppose, let me tell you the difference between the concessions and the discounts first. Okay, basically discount is given at you can say checkout. Concession is given after checkout. What do you mean by this? Let's understand this. Concession, discount. Okay, suppose rupees 10,000 has to be paid off by the small scale industry as a bill for something. Okay, so there are 10% concession and the 10% discount available. Okay, so when this is a case of discount, okay, so you can say the discount is applicable on the time of checkout. It means when the particular industry will paying the bill, they will get the discount. It means that they have to only pay rupees 9,000. Okay, as 10% of 10,000 means rupees 1,000 has been waived off in the form of discount. Okay, but when we talk about the concession, then in such a case, entire rupees 10,000 has to be paid by the small scale industry during the time of payment, but after certain period of time, rupees 1,000 will be credit back to them. Understood? Okay, so during the discount part, the discount has been granted on the time of checkout. If the 10,000 10% discount, so you have to pay only 9,000. But when we talk about the concession, you have to pay the entire amount, and after a certain period of time, the promised concession means 10%, and it means 100,000 rupees will be credited back to them. All right, so keep this thing in mind, difference between the concession and the discount. So these services are offered to the small scale industries which are the bills oriented. All right, these concessions can reduce the financial burdens on MSME, making it more cost effective for them to operate and grow. Okay, like they are paying less for which they are buying. Okay, suppose if they are buying the item for rupees 1 lakh and they are getting the concession or the discount of 10%, it means rupees 10,000 will be credited back to them, or you can say waived off. All right, so these rupees 10,000 could be invested in the operations and the growth. All right, it means that they could have the opportunity for their operation and the growth, and it will become more cost effective. So that's why the concession or the discounts have been granted to them on the regular basis. Thereafter, what we have the financial services like the factoring, hire purchase, and the leasing. What do you mean by this? Let's understand. SATHEE provides a range of financial services to the MSMEs, including the factoring, the hire purchase, and the leasing. Okay, factoring involves the purchase of accounts receivable to improve cash flow. Okay, hire purchase and leasing options enable MSMEs to acquire assets and equipments without large upfront payments, making it easier for them to invest in their business. Because we know when you are going to start the production, okay, like when you are going to start the production, so what you required? You required a plant and machinery. Right? When you are going to start the services, okay, then what you require? You require the proper digital infrastructure. All right. So in both the cases, they both are expensive within them. Okay, like if you go for the plant and machinery, you have to buy the machinery, you have to buy the land, you have to hire someone's, okay, to look after the plant and machinery every day. Thereafter, when you go with the services, you required systems like the laptops, like the monitors, like the internet connection, like the different setups. All right, so they all are the expenses. Got it? So basically, by providing the financial services, like by providing the concession, discount, and you can say rewards during this time, so basically this is to reduce the cost of operations. Okay, and as I have told you that if the money is being saved, then I could use it in the growth and operations. All right, so this making it easier for them to invest in their business, because right now they will have to spend less on the hire and purchase and the leasing options, and the remaining amount or the saving account could be invested in the other options as well. All right, thereafter what we have the assistance to exports. Okay, basically as an economy, okay, let it understand by the individual. Okay, like suppose you and me, we have the expenditure part, we have the savings part. All right, so if you are doing the high expenditures but your savings are the low, or you can say it's an income part, not savings, it's an income part. Okay, so what do you think you will be? You will not be so financially sound, because right now your expenditures are very high and your income is low. Suppose your income is only rupees 10,000, it's your income, but your expenditure is rupees 15,000. This is your expenditure. In such a case, rupees 5,000 has been borrowed by you so that you could fulfill this kind of situation, right? But on the other hand, if we reverse this kind of situation and we say that your expenditures are low and your income is high, okay, so you can say this is your expenditure and this is your income. So these rupees 5,000 will be saved by you, and then you could invest it in further so that you could have a better quality of life, right? Similar thing happens with the economy. If we are doing the high expenditure and our revenue is low, it means that basically what we are doing, we are generating the debt over it. All right, in the reverse case, we will found ourselves in the better condition, because right now our expenditures are under control and our revenue is high, so that we could do further innovation, inventions, and invest it in the betterity of our nation, right? So that's why basically when we talk about the exports and the imports, Okay, exports, it means when we send the goods and services outside the country to some other country. Whereas import means that we have to hire their services and we have to purchase their products from their country to our country, right? So export is basically the revenue part. Okay, whereas imports are basically the expenditure part. All right, so basically what we are trying that we should grow the MSME, okay, so that we could have the high export, which ultimately leads to the high revenue. All right, otherwise right now what we have the conditions, basically our imports are greater than our exports. It means that right now we are spending more and earning less. It means that we are creating the debt situations. Got it? So that's the thing we keep in our mind while we are trying to promoting the MSMEs. Okay. So why we want them to be in accordance for exploration of the international market? Because so that we could you can say enhance our exports and manage our imports. Second is that this support enhances the global competitiveness of Indian MSMEs and contributes to the foreign exchange earnings for the country. Okay, so basically forex, or we can say foreign exchange reserves. All right, so basically what we basically try that there should be inflow of foreign currency higher to the outflow of foreign currency. Okay, so when we have a high imports, it means that we are sending the foreign currency outer than our country. But when we have the high exports, it means we are getting the foreign currency in our country. All right, so that's why basically we promote the exports, because they create the inflow. Wherever when we talk about the imports, so basically they create the outflow. All right, so that is the reason. Okay, thereafter promotion of employment opportunities. SIDBI's initiatives promote the creation of employment opportunities within the MSME sector. All right, right now let me tell you one thing. When we talk about the okay, let me tell you two things first, then you could understand it. Here I have write down two abbreviations front of you. Okay, and now I want you to guess the full form. I have given you the 5 seconds and your time starts now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so now the question is, what do you mean by this term CIT and the LIT? So basically the CIT stands for the capital intensive technology. Okay, and the LIT basically stands for the labor intensive technology. Got it? So basically what happened when we talk about the large industries versus small industries. Okay, so large industries basically having the capacity to make the huge investments. All right, so they generally prefer the CIT. It means they do not hire the humans. Instead of this, they focus more on the technology like the artificial intelligence and more. Okay, so that however they have to make a huge investment in these things, but these are the cost effective as they are not paying the salaries on the regular basis. It means that their money or the capital is getting accumulated and then they could use it further. Okay, so this is the part of CIT. All right, why they are more interested in the CIT. Whereas when we talk about the small industries, so they generally prefer the labor intensive technology instead of going for the technology like the artificial intelligence. They prefer the humans. Why? First of thing, that they do not have the sufficient capital adequacy so that they could hire the good efficient capital intensive technology. All right, so if we look at this from the employment opportunities point of view, all right, so as an economy we generally prefer that more and more people should have the employment. Okay, because they will participating into the economic activities, they will be part of the national income. Second thing, that they will be enjoying the good standard of life, right? So basically this is the main criteria that why we prefer them in a term of employment opportunities. Okay, because the large industries generally focusing on the CIT, capital intensive technology. They do not want to hire the humans. All right, but the small industries are generally keeping themselves up with the LIT, labor intensive technology. Okay, so if we promote them, it means that we will generate a more and more employment opportunities for the people. All right, so that's why the initiatives of the should be focusing on the employment opportunities within the MSME sector. By fostering the growth of these enterprises, more jobs are generated, contributing to employment and the economic development in the region. Okay, thereafter what we have the aid in bank loans for the underprivileged, especially women. Okay, like I have told you in the previous slides also, when we talk about the bank, so basically we are talking about the organization which is the greediest organization than anyone else. All right, because they always try to grant the loans to those who could bear the huge loans on the huge interest rate so that they could earn a good income. All right, and how does the bank earns? I have told you in the previous slides also. Okay, previous lectures also, like when they accept deposits, they promised you some interest like 6%. All right, and when they grant loans, even they receive some interest from the borrower like 12%. Okay, so this is they has to given to the customer, this is they will receive from the borrower. So 12 minus 6, it means the 6% will be the excess, or this will be their profit or income, whatever you could say. Okay, so that's why they will try to give the loans on the higher amount, on the higher interest rate. Why? The more the interest rate will be, the more their income or profit will be. All right, so that's why those small entrepreneurs who do not have the capacity to handle these huge loans, they are called the underprivileged, because they will generally not attained by the banks on the good terms, especially the women entrepreneurs. Okay, who especially running the SHG. Do you know what you mean by the SHG? During the COVID time, the word was very famous. Okay, so it is very necessary that you must be aware about the SHG if you are going for the banking exams. It stands for the self help group. Okay, it means that suppose you and your friends combined together and started some small business, so you will be the part of self-help group. Okay, you are manufacturing the things by yourself and then you are selling it out. You are dividing the revenue amongst yourself. Okay, so SIDBI is committed to adding the underprivileged section of society with a special focus on the women entrepreneurs. Okay, as they are the part of SHG. It facilitates access to the bank loans for these individuals who may have limited collateral or the resources, thereby empowering them to establish and expand their businesses. Okay, SIDBI itself a bank. Okay, it means that it could generally granted the loans to the MSME holders directly, or if the SIDBI is not in that condition to grant the loan, they will provide the access to the individuals to the well-established banks. Okay, so that they could have the loan of sufficient amount, still having the limited collateral or the resources. Okay, about the collateral, I had told you, when you go to the bank and ask for the loans, the bank will grant you the loan, but will ask you for collateral. Collateral may be the something which is an equivalent amount to the loan. If the loan is of rupees 10 lakh, it means the same thing which is valued at 10 lakh, you have to be submitted to the bank by yourself. Okay, so this kind of situations make them empowering to establish their businesses and expand their businesses. All right, now let's move forward. Thereafter, what we have the regulatory authority. Okay, we have done with the objectives parts, so let's start. First is Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises. Okay, SATHEE operates under the regulatory oversight of the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, in short known as the MSME, which is a department of the Government of India. Okay, so remember this thing. This ministry is responsible for formulating and implementing policies and programs related to the MSME sector with a focus on promoting their growth and the development. Second is the Board of Directors. SATHEE is governed by its Board of Directors, which is a central component of its organizational structure. The board is responsible for making important decisions, setting strategic directions, and overseeing the operations of SATHEE. Please keep this thing in your mind. If the question asks you the board members are responsible for what kind of things, please remember for taking the important decisions, for setting up the strategic directions, and for overseeing the operations of the SATHEE. Plays a crucial role in ensuring the transparency, accountability, and efficient functioning. Thereafter, after Board of Directors, we have the government representatives. The government plays a significant role in the governance of SATHEE as it holds shares and has a vested interest in the institution's success. Government officials, often from the Ministry of MSME, may be the part of the board members. All right. Thereafter, representation of the financial institutions. The board may include representatives from the financial institutions such as the banks and the non-banking financial companies, also known as NBFCs, that have a partnership with SATHEE in providing financial support to the MSME. Thereafter, what we have the industry experts. Experts from the industries, businesses, and the finance sectors may also serve on the board. Their knowledge and experience contribute to the informed decision making. Now, here is one thing which I would like to make sure that please remember that whosoever the part of the board. Okay, so far when we talk about the Board of Directors, then we have concluded that the government representatives okay, mostly from the Ministry of MSME are the part of the board. Okay, second, we have seen that representatives of banks. Okay, thereafter we have seen representatives of non-banking financial company, financial companies, in short known as NBFCs. Okay, thereafter what we have the representation of expert from industry, from finance sector, and from business sector. All right. So these are the representatives, or you can say these are the people who are elected to the Board of Directors of the SIDB. Okay, so the questions could be asked for you from this area also. Thereafter, what we have the independent directors also. To ensure impartial and the balanced governance, independent directors without direct affiliations to the government of SIDB, to the government or SIDB's partner institutions may be appointed. Okay, so this is an you can say idealistic approach that might be those people who we have discussed right now, they might be indulged in some activities, okay, which I'm not going to mention here. So to ensure the impartiality and the balanced governance, the independent directors are appointed which do not having any direct affiliations to the government or the SIDB's partner institutions. All right, so that the impartiality and balanced governance could be ensured. Thereafter, what we have the policy formulation, setting policies and the guidelines to govern the SIDB's operations, lending practices and development initiatives. Thereafter, strategic planning, formulating long-term and the short-term strategies to achieve SIDB's mission of supporting MSMEs. Risk management criteria, monitoring and managing risk associated with the organization activities, including the financial lending and the investments. These are the part of risk management. Thereafter, what we have the financial oversight, ensuring financial stability and sustainability by approving budgets and the financial plans. The financial oversight has been exercised. Thereafter, compliance, overseeing compliance with regulatory requirements and ensuring that the SIDB operates within the bounds of the law. Accountability and the transparency, the presence of diverse board of directors with various stakeholders ensures accountability and transparency in the SIDB's operation. Thereafter, what we have, decisions and actions are subject to the scrutiny and discussion, promoting the organization's responsibility towards its mission and the beneficiaries. All right, so students, here we have finished the overview part, the objectives and the regulatory authority. Okay, we will stop now in this lecture. In the next lecture, we will continue with this part, functions and the initiatives, assistance and the development, digital initiatives and the summary part. Okay, till then I request you all kindly revise the facts and figures we have discussed in this lecture. Okay, so that you could not burden yourself when you have the real examination to be faced off. All right, if you keep this thing in your mind, because you can see that these topics are not a smaller topic, then you just pay your one look and you will grasp the facts and figures proper. Okay, you will have to spend your time, you will have to do a lot of practices. Okay, so if you do this thing on the regular basis, it means that you are sequentially going further. And if you let it compile together and then once you start decoupling, then you will find yourself at not a very easy place. All right, so this is the message from my side to you, you can say. All right, so please, it's my humble request to you, kindly pay attention to yourself, revise the facts and figures we have discussed this lecture in the proper manner, and we will see each other in the next lecture. I hope that you will obey my advice. Okay, so with this note, let's end this lecture and say thank you.